she'll be there every day for you. Okay.
No, but having said that, I mean, sometimes the friends set up, and I don't mean like a blind date. I'm not talking now. I'm just saying, maybe it's a party and your friends are like, you're introduced and, oh, by the way, they're single. Talk with them. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That can be really great just because there's an association and it's not just a stranger.
Right.
I also will say, finally, for how to meet people, I know a lot of people who have success online. And I know it's one of those things where there's horror stories and, whatever. But in general, like I've been on Match.com a few times.
Yeah.
Everyone I've met personally, they're still in my life as a friend. Some of them are married now or whatever, but I always met people that were, it's just like if you did meet someone at the bar, you have to use good judgment.
Yeah.
And you can't, your first date maybe should be like at Starbucks, like during the day. It shouldn't be a night at somebody's house. So you just got to use your brain.
Yeah.
And you got to use as much discretion as you would in a normal dating situation.
Right.
But I don't discount online dating.
Okay, why would you go on Match.com?
Why did I personally?
I mean, you're almost as good looking as me. And,
thanks, Rick.
And
wow.
Because I went on there. And when women write, what in the world is a guy like you doing on this website? You don't need this, and you're making us feel bad. And they actually said that. Yeah, we don't, why do you need to be on here? You can get any girl you want. I just wanted to see what was out there.
Making us feel bad.
Yeah, it was like,
ladies
it was
with
weird.
issues.
Yeah,
ladies
well, they all had
issues.
issues. Everybody that I met on there was like drama.
Wow, interesting.
Oh, my God. I said, this is like catalog shopping. Give me a serious catalog, I'll find a mannequin that doesn't talk. Because I did not like it.
Wow.
I like just let it happen by chance.
Well, and this is the thing too. I mean, we're talking.
I love when you touch me like that, by the way.
There you go,
okay,
right
cool.
there.
I love that.
It's one of those things, though, Rick. I mean, because you are you're known. People know you.
Yeah.
So I think it's harder for people who are known to be on online dating sites. It is because you're kind of a personality. So it's like
they said that you have this wonderful life, and I have a regular job. What do we have in common?
Yeah, there is a weird thing. There's intimidation, sort of.
I got that too.
Right. So, but for everyone else out there, I don't think
you normal people.
Right. Oh, I know. Right.
I'm abnormal. I'm abnormally normal.
But okay, well, back to your question. So I was on there because thanks for the compliment, by the way. But listen, when I first moved out here, I've lived in LA 8 years, and I didn't really know that many people. And I like dating. I'm one of the few people out there, which is why I do what I do. I encourage people to enjoy dating because it should be fun. If you choose to date, it's a fun thing and it should be fun. It shouldn't be this like, oh my gosh, I hate it. And like, it should be a fun thing. You're really just getting to know somebody and you're meeting somebody. There shouldn't be pressure put on it. Anyway, I wanted to meet people and I was like, well, why don't I try this Match.com? And like I said, I met some really great people. It wasn't a love connection, but it wasn't like I needed to be like, burning bridges with people. I run into these people all the time and they're still great people.
Oh, I can understand that.
But for me, it was a way to meet people. Moving out here, and like I said, I mean, maybe I'd broken up with someone. I'm like, you know what? I just need to go out. You know, I just want to like build my confidence back up and go out with somebody. So I would go on.
Well, I've remained friends with all my old girlfriends in the past because I never ended on a bad note.
Yeah, me neither.
And I always felt they were good people. It didn't work out, but we're friends. We had things in common, and I can go back many years.
Many years.
And still be friends with them at reunions, and there's no hard feelings over it.
Right.
On my part.
But that's a sign of maturity because I'm the same way. There's maybe one exception, one person I don't talk to that I've dated. Everyone else I'm close with still. I know they'd have my back if necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, you're respectful of their new spouse if they're with someone. But having said that, I don't see if you invited someone into your life for a certain reason.
Yeah.
I don't see why it needs to end because you're not with them romantically.
Right.
It's all about we're all energetic beings and we're all connected. So why end the connection with someone? Because you weren't a love match.
I have one too, and I had her back, and she stabbed mine.
Right. Well, in that case, you got to let it go.
You got to let it go.
You don't need negativity like that.
Nope.
It just brings you down.
Nope.
So
it does. So how's this site doing for you?
The site?
The dating?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, like I said, people. We have a mutual friend / colleague who put me in touch with Rick, or put Rick in touch with me, and so the website is huge. It goes back to the whole self-promotion thing. Yeah, I've gotten tons of offers to do other things through Facebook and Twitter and etc. All those things, and again, it's just all about connections.
It is.
I think most industries are, but especially what we do.
Well, I had started this Rick's Corner based on wrestling and my students after teaching them how to talk on a microphone.
Right.
You had to have mic skills, and we brought it in here. We did a banner, then we did the green screen. Then I took it into going back to the 70s era of bodybuilding, because I'm one of the few guys around that has knowledge of that and had actually lived it.
It's fantastic.
And so it got to be this huge thing.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about, through my years, of all the women that I've known who call me to this day, and guys that call me this day, they're having relationship problems. They think I have the answer.
Interesting.
I get that so often.
Is that how you started this dating segment, dating and fitness?
Yes, because I look at life logically. You know, I pull myself away and I can see where people are going with it, and I give good advice, and they listen to me. And I've had people who call me all the time. A friend of mine from Ohio calls me. He's having problems with his...
Sorry, I'm from Ohio.
My dad was too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where? Sorry, everybody.
We'll get into that.
Right.
So I started giving this advice, and women would call me and say, I got this guy, he's acting this way, what do you think I should do? And then I started a website called Tough and Tender.
Yeah.
Which was the tough side of me, but the tender side of me, because I believe that you can't be one-dimensional.
Absolutely.
You know, I have this look, you say it's intimidating, people tell me it's intimidating, and it is what I am, and it does have this tough exterior, but there's a whole compassionate person inside me that has this tender side.
Which I can totally see, by the way.
Yeah, and I have a lot of compassion for people. So when people come to me with a problem, I will sit and tell them and work it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I did that, and I decided to take it into Rick's Corner and veer off of the bodybuilding for a while into wrestling, because it is my #1 love, but people have questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I decided to do the tough and tender side of it.
Yeah, I love it.
So I went off that way, and then I found you, and I thought, well, this is perfect that we can discuss this kind of stuff. Because people out there do have problems, and they don't know where to go. And
they don't.
And maybe you can't afford a marriage counselor or a therapist.
Right.
I went to one, and it was okay. I ended up having more answers than she did. And she says, I'm getting a lot out of you coming here.
Wow,
and I said,
really?
Maybe you should be paying me.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm dead serious about that.
That's crazy.
She says, you are so well-centered and know where you're going. I don't know why you're coming here. I said, but someone told me to. So,
right.
And she said, so what do you think I should do? I said, well, I'll tell you.
I love it. I love it.
So,
there you go.
So it was funny, and that's just how it is. And so that's why I wanted to have you over here, because I thought we could do a couple of segments about dating, because there's people there, they get lost. You know, and I'm one of them too.
Oh, me too.
You know,
me too.
Friday and Saturday night roll around, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to do? I want to go out. I don't want to go alone. Who am I going to call?
Yeah.
You know, I got to call somebody.
Yeah.
And there's a few people I can call, I go out with, and it's great, but it's still,
yeah.
You know.
Well, I have two things to say about that. The one, I'll go with the one you just said. I think sometimes people assume, gosh, I have to be careful not to seem like an egomaniac, but sometimes people like us who are very personable, and you know, are sort of, you know, we look a certain way, whatever. People assume that it's easy. And people assume that, you know, we're always going out with people and all this stuff. And that's not true. Last weekend, I was at my house all weekend doing nothing, like reading and watching movies and working. Yeah. You know? And it's like, but I don't get asked out that often. It's funny. I mean, okay. In terms of the average amount of time, like maybe the average person gets asked out, I probably am a little above that, if I'm being honest. But in general, it's not as much as people think.
Well, it's got to be by the right person.
Well, but even that though, I mean, I don't even get asked out by the people I don't want to go out with sometimes. You know, it's like people are afraid, or they think I'm taken, or whatever. You know, and so that happens a lot. And I mean, I am very picky as well. But I wanted to say also, you said that you're very logical in the advice that you give your friends, and I am one of those rare females that I'm very logical, and I think that's why I have success in what I do as well. Right. Because I don't, women in general, and some men, but in general, or most women get very emotional with even if you're like talking to a girlfriend, they give you advice, it's like, girl, you know, it's all emotional, it's not logical. Yeah. And so I am one of those rare people that am able to, because I don't have an agenda, I'm not looking for marriage, I enjoy dating. Yeah. I'm realistic. I'm not pessimistic about just dating or men or whatever. So I'm very logical, which helps me give good advice. Yeah. And it helps me in my own dating life. Because when you're logical about things, it's just, you know, you're like, oh, it didn't work. Well, this is why, and that's fine. Move on, keep it moving.
I've done that. Yeah, right? I don't get emotionally attached. You know, I mean, you can get
You
emotionally.
all do. You're human.
But I don't deal with it emotionally. Right. I look down at the logical end, and emotions can take over when you're younger. Right. Which they did. Mm-hmm. And I had relationships where I was heartbroken, and I don't get that way anymore.
We all do.
We all have been through that. Yeah. But now I look at it logically, you know, with the divorce and all, it's logical. It's business. It's separation of property and this and that. There's no emotional loss anymore. That's over and done with. Right. So it's a better way to look at it. It keeps you grounded, and you can just do your thing and move forward.
Right. Well, it's like, this happened. What do I do to move on from this?
Exactly.
I can't change what happened, but let's move on. You know, and that's the thing too. I mean, a lot of times people, you know, I broke up with someone not too long ago. I was dating on and off for about a year. And, you know, it obviously it hurts in the beginning. You're human. You let that happen. You accept that it's going to hurt, and you let it happen for as long as you need to. But then at some point, people let themselves wallow in that self-pity or like whatever, and it didn't work. It's like, you know what? It just didn't work. Sometimes it doesn't even matter why it didn't.
It's not the end of the world.
Just move on with it, and it didn't work with that person. You know?
It's not the end of the world, and you can move on. You don't have to go out on a mission to look for somebody else. Right. Because people do. I got to find somebody right away. I got to find somebody right away. I lost my girlfriend. I got to find somebody. I never did that. Yeah. I thought, you know what? I'll be standing somewhere and someone will walk by. It'll happen on its own.
Yeah, exactly.
And it will.
Yeah, it will. And the thing is, if you're not looking for it and you're in a good place and you're happy with yourself and you're creating things and busy and working and, you know, whatever, you attract something even better. Because you're full in your own self. You're not looking for someone to complete you or what have you.
Exactly. I had a Lincoln Town car and I sold it and I wanted another one. And I really wanted one bad. Yeah. I love that car.
My dad had one back in the day.
Well, there you go. See, it's a big boat for us older guys.
Oh, no.
It's comfortable. And I looked and they were $28,000. They were $18,000 used. You know, they're $50,000 new. And I was patient and I waited just like with the date. I waited and I waited. I waited a year and a half. Yeah. I drove by a lot one day and I saw a black one. That's the one I want. Yeah, yeah. $10,000. Yeah. I got it.
It's fantastic.
It's been the best thing since, but I was patient.
Yeah.
And patience really works.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. People are just so impatient. You know, and I get it. I mean, listen, you know, I think we are meant to be around other humans, and not necessarily in a pair, but we're meant to
more of an apple.
Yeah, maybe an apple or a banana. Okay, I don't know. That just went a whole other... Yeah. Anyway. But, you know, I mean, so I get that some people, I mean, their focus is to find someone who they can spend their life with, whatever. But when it becomes an obsession, and then you aren't really looking at what you really need or what really could make you better, that's when it's a problem. And you're just looking for someone just because you need somebody.
No, you don't do it that way. But it is good to have a life partner. It's good to have somebody to share things with.
Absolutely.
You know, Friday night movies, dinner, and you can date a lot of people, but then you're scattered. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
Especially at your age, right? You got to do that. But it's also nice to have that one person that you build a little history with. Right. And you go out with and you build over time. You have a lot to talk about. You have a lot in common. You'll have a lot to come home to.
Right. Well, let me preface that by saying I do date regularly, but I do have relationships. So I'm not just like this just girl who's like, woo, who's next, you know? Yeah. But I mean, but again, I date when I'm not working, which, gosh, now it's like I'm just so busy working. But if I do find somebody that I really click with and that we have similar goals and aspirations and stuff, then I will, you know, I will have a couple years with somebody, you know.
Do you have a time limit?
No, but that seems to be my focus. My focus is the first 6 months because it seems to be like the median of my relationships fall into 6 months.
That's really funny because I went out with this girl and she told me, I'll know within 90 days where this is going. I said, so I'm on probation like at Macy's?
Yeah, seriously.
I'm on probation. You know what she says to me? That's the rudest thing anybody's ever said to me. That's nasty. I said, bye.
Yeah, I mean, because
I guess I'm fired.
First of all, it was funny.
It was funny.
And second of all, like, whoa.
Hey, that's the other thing in dating.
Too serious.
The biggest thing, not only what I said is having integrity and being honest and all that, you got to have a sense of humor.
Absolutely.
God, if you can't laugh, forget about it.
Especially in LA.
Everything's funny.
And if it isn't funny, it's scary, but you still need to laugh about it. Because otherwise you'll go crazy.
You got to laugh.
I mean, come on now.
Well, this has been great. I'm going to take this into many segments. We'll probably get 3 out of this one.
Oh, fantastic. And we have a lot to talk about, obviously.
We got so much to talk about. But I want to thank you for being here.
Oh, Rick. Thanks for having me.
It took me forever to get you. It took me 20 years.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
It took him like a week.
No, I said I'm patient. I'm patient. We found the time that we both had time together. And I want to thank you for watching Rick's Corner and welcome Erin because she's going to be on here again. And her website is?
thedatingadvicegirl.com.
And we're going to flash it on her. Go to her website and take a look. I did, and I found it very fascinating.
Well, thank you, Rick. Thank you.
Very, very good. And thank you again for watching Rick's Corner. Stay tuned next time when I'll bring you more people.